Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I did do a YouTube video, but I wasn't happy about it, so I decided to do something again. I was talking about food. So yes, I will say some things and then I will put bits and pieces of the other video that I did and we see how it goes. So if you're new here, please do like, comment, and share. If you've been here before, thank you for your support. It's amazing. Please help me grow so that we can reach 200 and slowly we will reach 300, 400, 500 until we reach 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully in the next coming months to come. So please do subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe, So we are talking about my favorite food. So what is my favorite food? So I do have different types of foods that we used to eat in my country that I would say they were my favorites a little bit. But when I came here to Germany, I think not when I came to Germany, when I started traveling, my taste for different cuisine, for different kinds of food changed. I started learning about new cultures, and then I started enjoying the new different types of food from different countries. So I'm so grateful to have been in a position where I could eat many things and learn different cultures. But my favorite all-time favorite food from home is chalale delele. This is salsa and okra. And then in Germany, my best of everything, my favorite food is Schnitzel. It can be Wiener Schnitzel or Jäger Schnitzel. It doesn't matter, but I love Schnitzel. So growing up, we used to have a lot and different options of what kinds of food we would eat for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. And well, in Zim, in Bulawayo, where I grew up, we ate our dinner in the evening, and it was the heaviest meal of the day. But here in Deutschland, they eat their dinner during lunchtime, so their lunchtime is their heaviest meal of the day. So this is the cultural differences that I have had to face here in Germany. But I love their breakfast also. I love the different options that you have of bread. There is buns, different types of buns. Whereas back home, we only have bread, normal bread, maybe brown bread, and then white bread, and then buns, but nothing really fancy. Not the assortments that are there in Germany. And I find this is crazy good. They have a whole lot of different assortments. I'm crazy about the German bread. And yeah, so this is our differences. So sometimes they have only bread for dinner, and whereas I would want something heavy, and because I grew up eating quite heavy, I guess we ate a lot of heavy stuff back home, but somehow I guess our food was a lot of bio inside, so our food was much more healthier. As in compared to here, the food has been worked on, there's always some things added inside, so it is no longer as 100% healthy as what we ate back home. So this is the reason why people get fat, or it's not really a choice, but I guess the food is totally different. And if you want to eat healthy, then you have to buy greens, vegetables, which are expensive as well as compared to back home. When you want to eat vegetables, they are cheaper. You can grow them on your own in your garden, or you can buy them, but in any case they are way cheaper than here in Germany. The most cheapest things in Germany are naturally grown foods, and the most the most expensive are the most expensive are the naturally grown foods, and the most cheapest are the foods that have been added things, GMOs. These are the most cheapest. So think about it. If you want to buy, of course you can't afford to buy everything, you know, every day, every week you to buy fresh vegetables. So you will have to buy once in a while GMOs and all these things, or foodstuffs that have already been added something inside. Yes, so this is the difference. Whereas in Africa, we would grow most of the things on our own. This is called eating healthy. We ate healthy most of the time. Getting fat was not really something we would say. Actually, I don't know why, because for a long time, when I was young, I grew up very skinny, but we ate healthy. We ate lots of food. We ate much more than I eat here because of school and work. I don't have time to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so I usually go out in the morning without eating, and then get something at school, maybe a fruit, a banana. And then later on in the day, when I come back home, this is late in the afternoon, you know, after work and everything, then I eat then. So I usually have one heavy meal a day, but then you can't control the weight, isn't it? Yeah, because of the GMOs, because of the added preservatives, I guess, that they add to the food. Yeah, so in any case, guys, this is what I wanted to talk about. The different types of food that we have in Germany and the different types of food in Africa that I like to eat. And yeah, guys, I know some of you can relate. If you're staying alone, it's hard to make food for yourself. So most of the time people buy food outside, or people just eat bread. And yeah, I mostly eat bread or noodles, or those the fast noodles, 2 minutes noodles. This is my go-to because it's easy to make, it doesn't take time, and it doesn't stress me. So I just go for the noodles, or go for bread, or go for what? Nothing really special. I always try to minimize my eating, so my cooking, so that I don't have a lot of dishes to do, or all these things. Yeah, so today we are going to be talking about food. So, and I remember growing up in Bulawayo, we used to have breakfast that was just so crazy. I remember in this time, I think all of you guys can relate, that back at home we used to eat early in the morning porridge, and then around 10 we would go for tea with mbambayira, sweet potatoes, or with isinkwa esile dobi, esile jemu, or amazambane, different foodstuffs, umumbu, and all these things. And then later around 1, 2, we would eat ischala, letelele, or what else? Ischala, letelele, or amaqimbi, madora. Oh gosh, you know, it was always cool. And then later, before we even the day was over, then your mom would say, "Hey, nase lambile mfuni tea." I remember my mom used to love tea, so we would have to make tea for her, which meant that in this time when we're having tea, then we would have snacks, of course. And then later on, the mama will cook ischala, the stew, beef stew, or ischala, lompita, or chicken, or whatever. But our main recipe for the whole day that people would have been waiting for is ischala. Yes, people used to wait for ischala. But so what happened was, when I was young, my mom used to say, sometimes she would cook, or sometimes she would say to me I should cook ischala. And every time I always cooked ischala, my dad would complain and say "Mpegimboza." So I guess I never trusted myself ever again to cook ischala. So even today, I'm not a fan of ischala. Yes, I know, guys, my fellow country people will be like, "Dude, oh, you don't like ischala?" Yes, ischala, I don't like ischala. I actually prefer rice, macaroni, or noodles, or spaghetti, something like this. This I prefer, and vegetables. but Istrala was not my thing. But actually, one thing that I know about Zimbabweans is Zimbabweans love meat. They love meat way more than I guess Germans do. Germans do eat meat, but I guess it's not the way we eat meat. You know, when they eat, they like meat without bones, and we love bones because I don't know why. Germans have a special way with food. My teacher told me that it's in their culture. Now things have changed. People are, guess they're changing also slowly, but in their culture, they used to have, you say, they were taught to have a good breakfast, a good strong breakfast, and then they would go to work during this whole time, and then they would have hot lunch. This meant that they would eat, you know, heavy food, kartoffel, potatoes, maybe with rice, chicken, or pork, meat, and all these different kinds of food that they have. Yeah, and then they would have in between a cake, coffee, tea, and then they would in the evening only have a light meal, maybe bread, something like this, just bread and a toast, or bread with a filling inside, maybe bread with chicken meat or something like this, and then they'll go to sleep. Whereas for us, we would prefer to eat heavy in the evening, so that, because I don't know, in our mentality, I guess we always thought evening was family time. You know, we would gather around at a table and have a big meal together as a family. And I guess the Germans do it also, but I guess they did it maybe in the afternoon, where they would sit together and eat this big heavy meal, and then in the evening, then people, because everybody's tired, coming from work, then people would just go and part ways. I don't understand their system, why it is so, but I guess it is so. Yeah, if I knew how to cook my country food, if I knew how to really make it like these pictures that I've been posting here, if I really knew how to make this food the way it is, or if I had someone to cook this food for me, then I guess I'll prefer my country food. But since I'm in Germany and I don't have anybody cooking my country food for me, I prefer German food. So German food wins. Yes, guys. So this was just today. This was me talking about my favorite German food. I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, ciao.